Hello, hi. How you doing? It's been a while. It's been a while. I just kind of wanted to, talk a little bit. I'm doing some work on my computer while I record this, so you're probably going to hear my keyboard, my mouse, maybe. So, also, I really hate having this earbud in just so I can have the microphone. This is also probably a pretty shitty microphone, just FYI. I believe these earbuds cost about $10. So, don't expect high quality. So how you been? I have been working with Mary Magdalene a lot lately. Don't know if you're going to be able to see that or not, but there you go. And that has been interesting. I've enjoyed working with her. Haven't done a ton of stuff recently. My migraines have been really pretty good. So, if you've seen any of my previous migraine videos, then you know that they've been a pain, literally and figuratively. It's been like 20 plus migraine days a month, and you can't have much of a life that way. You just can't. Like, what are you supposed to do? Hard to work a job that way for very obvious reasons. It's hard to be at work with a migraine. If you've never had a migraine, I will say just a tiny bit, which is migraine is way more than head pain. Okay? There are just a slew of other symptoms associated with migraines, like sensitivity to light, sensitivity to sound, allodynia, which is kind of like sensitivity to touch. It's like touch, like maybe brushing your hair or something, might actually cause pain on your head. There's, of course, nausea. That's pretty well known when nausea and vomiting can happen. Brain fog, like not being able to think clearly. There's a ton of things, ton of symptoms. If you're curious, just Google migraine symptoms. You'll find some. So, when you're having 20 a month, it's pretty difficult to do anything. To have a life, to have a job, to have social interactions, like plan events, like say, I will be there. Like, yeah, you have this event going on, I'll be there, but then that day you wake up with a horrible migraine. Or 5 minutes before you're supposed to leave, you get a migraine. Or you get a migraine while you're there. Or, when you're having 20 plus migraine days a month, there's a greater chance of it happening, you having a migraine, than not having a migraine. So, but when I went to the Mayo Clinic a couple of years ago, one of the things they suggested was the supplement CoQ10. Some studies have shown that some migraine patients are actually low in CoQ10 in their body, so a supplement can help. He had told me to try taking 150 milligrams a day for 3 months. If I tolerated that well, then take 300 milligrams a day, and that it would take a good 6 months to know if it was helping. And at the time, I don't know why I didn't think about trying to buy it online, but I didn't. And so I went to a GNC that was by my husband's work at the time, and it was expensive. I also didn't see any 150 or 300s. I still don't to this day. I still haven't seen any 350 or 100s, but whatever. And so I ended up buying a bottle of 200. It was a bottle of 30. When I finished that bottle, there hadn't been any change that I could tell, and I didn't want to spend that much money again. And spending that much money for 6 months just to see if it would help was really difficult to justify, because I wasn't working at the time, because I couldn't work any longer. So we were just on my husband's income, which was pretty much impossible in Florida. That is why we moved back to Oklahoma last October. You may or may not remember that, or this may be the first video of mine you're watching. so you wouldn't know. I got this at Walmart, by the way. So pretty, isn't it? I love this kind of like, I don't know, oil slick rainbow thing happening. Anyway. So, I went for a while. I just kind of gave up on the CoQ10. I couldn't really afford to try it, basically. So once we moved back to Oklahoma, though, I was like, you know what? Better cost of living. We stayed with my mom for the first 3.5 months. So I had a support system in place, you know, more so than just my husband, who's trying to work a full-time job also. So I felt like I could give the CoQ10 another chance, because might as well, right? It's not something difficult to obtain, and there's not really much in the way of like side effects of taking it. So there's not much of downsides, is what I'm saying. So I found a website online that sold it for what I thought to be a reasonable price. If you're curious, the website is, I actually have it pulled up over here because I need to order some more. It's pipingrock.com. They sell a lot of supplements, herbs, essential oils, skincare. I just wanted them for the CoQ10. They have it in a format that they say is enhanced absorption. So I thought that would be a good idea, and it is their own brand. It's not that they're selling other brands of supplements. It is Piping Rock CoQ10. So I got, they actually had a bottle of 90, which is how many I needed, because I needed to do it for 90 days, for 3 months. They had a bottle of 90 of 200 milligrams for, it was under $20. I want to say like 15, something like that. And so I got them. And I started taking them towards the end of December of last year. And, you know, I took it for 90 days. Wasn't really sure if it was helping. I did have less migraines in January, February, March, but not by like a big number. And so I was kind of like, could be the CoQ10 helped. It also could just be, I mean, my migraines do fluctuate from month to month. Maybe these 3 months just happened to be lower, you know. They were more like 15 days of migraines per month instead of 20. So I was like, you know what, let's give it a go. I did 200 milligrams for 90 days, not 150 like the doctor suggested, because I couldn't find 150. So I thought, okay, let's go up to 400. So I got a bottle of, they sell, I actually have it pulled up right here on my computer so I can tell you. They sell a bottle of absorbable CoQ10, 400 milligrams, and it's $60, so that would be 2 months worth. Regular price is $23.39, but every time I go in there, it's on sale. So like right now, it's $17.49, and I need to order a bottle once my husband gets paid this week. That's why I have it pulled up in a tab on my browser so that I do not forget to order it. So I started taking the 400 milligram CoQ10, and immediately, results. I had a migraine I think 2 days after I started the 400, and then I went 10 days without a migraine. And I hadn't gone 10 days without a migraine in a long time. Years. I'm talking years. So that in and of itself was amazing to me. So I was like, this is awesome. This is freaking awesome. Well, then I went through some hormonal issues that have to do with the fact that I went off birth control in November, and my body's still trying to figure out what the hell it's doing. My body doesn't work so well in that department without birth control. So I went through a period of about 2 months where the hormones were just all over the place. It was bad, and I had migraines back to almost constantly. And I wasn't concerned though, because I thought it had to do with the hormones, and I thought the CoQ10 though was still helping, just. So once that period of hormonal nonsense kind of was fixing itself or getting back to more of a normal balance, I'm back to not hardly having migraines again. So today is July 29th, so we're 29 days into this month, and I've had 6 days of migraines. That's it. 6. That is so amazing. I cannot even tell you how grateful I am. So, I am now looking for a part-time job. I am absolutely terrified of this. I have to tell you, I am terrified of starting a part-time job. I haven't worked in 2.5 years. And I'm mainly terrified in that, like, what if the migraines get bad again, you know? Have to keep water on my throat, sorry. My throat gets real dry when I'm talking a lot. So, I'm terrified. I just want a little part-time job. Here in Oklahoma, on my husband's income, we're like right at the edge. It's really not quite enough to make it. Luckily, I have my mom nearby, so she helps us when she can. But if I were to add just a little part-time job, then we'd be perfectly fine. Just absolutely perfectly fine. So, that's what I'm doing. Looking for a part-time job. I did start one a couple of weeks ago at a convenience store, gas station-y place. But I found that it was just too much physically. I want a job that's a little more physical. I don't want to just be like sitting all day. Like most of my previous jobs have been in an office, sitting at a desk or a cubicle all day. And I don't want that. I want a job that makes me move around more. But the convenience store was a little too much. Because yes, I worked the register, which is just standing behind the counter and ringing people up, and that was fine. But there was cleaning the entire store every night, sweeping and mopping the entire floor, and it was a fairly good-sized convenience store. Those 2 acts alone, like, almost killed me every night. And like, it was just too much for my body. I have other medical issues besides the migraines that I deal with, so it just ended up being too much physically for me. I need something a little less physical than that. Like, just a little less. So, I'm still working on it. Still trying to find something that'll work well for me. So, that's where I'm at now in life. I have been really working with Mary Magdalene, like I mentioned towards the beginning, and I'm so happy about that. I got an email from Hay House. So this deck is by Megan Watterson. This is the Divine Feminine Oracle. And I already love Megan, and I follow her on Instagram, and I had seen that she had a new book that just came out called Mary Magdalene Revealed. And I was highly interested in it. Well, I got an email from Hay House saying that the ebook, the Kindle version on Amazon, was like $1.99. That they had reduced it that much so that like more people could get it and read it if they wanted to. And I was like, sold. So I bought it. And then for $7.49 more, at that time, I don't know what it is right now, but for $7.49 more, you could get the Audible version, the audiobook, which is narrated by Megan. And I love reading books where the author is actually the narrator, because they can add, like you can tell by the tone of their voice how they wanted certain parts to come across, or how they feel about certain parts, like how passionate they are and stuff like that. Whereas if just like a third-party narrator reads it, it's not the same. You know what I mean? So I'm hooked. I'm about 2/3 of the way through it, and I'm loving it. I'm loving reading about Mary Magdalene. And it was right around her feast day. Her feast day was the 22nd of July, 23rd. And it was right around her feast day that all of this happened. And I don't know if that was intentional by Hay House. Probably was. But it was just perfect. She was showing up in my Facebook feeds, my Instagram feeds, and I have I keep this out on my desk, but yesterday my random card pull from this deck was also her. So it's just, she just keeps popping up. So I've been like invoking her. When I feel, not just when I feel upset, but if I feel upset, I like have been repeating in my mind, I invoke Mary Magdalene. I invoke Mary Magdalene. And her like quotes, her kind of affirmations that Megan put on this card is, hang on, almost coughed. My bottle of water is almost empty. I am the bridge between heaven and earth. I am fully human and fully divine. Oh, my throat. Whew. Oh, made my eye water. You know, your throats. Unhappy. Alright, I've emptied my bottle, and my throat has had enough. So, I'm making my eye water. So, I'm going to call it here. I will see you in my next video. Thank you for joining me. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love to see you more. And leave me a comment.